Hello and welcome to Dash28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Adkins, and today we are bringing you all day long live coverage of the 2022 U.S. Kings of War Masters taking place in Linwood, just outside of Seattle, Washington. And the random pairing gods have given us the gift here in round one of watching defending U.S. Master Keith Conroy playing Herd, which he used to win the Masters last year, against Patrick Zoro Allen playing Undead, who is, of course, the first U.S. Kings of War Master, and Undead is the army he won with. Joining me here today, I've got Joey Greek, Ray Shields, and John Quayle. Hey, guys.
What's up?
Thanks for being here. They are already rolling and deploying, so I don't want to waste too much time. We can chat about other things as we bring the table up, but really quick, I am going to bring up their lists so that we can quickly tell everybody what they are playing. I will just read through these very quickly. So this is Keith's Herd list. They are playing 2,300 points. Keith is bringing a horde of Spirit Walkers with Brew of Haste for speed 7, 30 attacks on 3s. Yikes. 3 troops of Harpies for all the fast chaff you need. 2 hordes of Lycans, one with Staying Stone for some waiver mitigation, and the other one with Dwarven Ale for even more waiver mitigation. A regiment of Forest Shamblers. A horde of Scorchwings with the Healing Brew. Double Beasts of Nature tooled up with wings and 7 attacks, as you do. A Great Chieftain with Wings of the Honey Maze and the Horn of the Great Migration, giving a Dread aura. Giving Dread and a Wild Charge aura. A Druid with Conjurer's Staff and Bane Chant 2 mounted, and Moonfang. And then Pat's Undead list is 2 regiments of Ghouls, a regiment of Soul Reaver Infantry with no items, a regiment of Soul Reaver Cavalry with Wine of Elvenkind for Nimble, a Brew of Strength Werewolf Horde, a Ghoul Ghast with the Thunderous Charge aura for Cannibals, so that affects the other ghouls, a Vampire and Undead Pegasus, a 3 Lycanus, with one of them with Blade of the Beast Slayer and the Howl of the Wolf upgrade to gain aura Slayer melee D3 on beasts. And then 2 regiments of Halfling Braves, a Harvester, and a Gunnery Sergeant on Troll, coming in at 14 drops and 25 unit strength versus Keith's 13 drops and 21 unit strength. The lists are linked in the video description. So if anybody during the course of the match has any questions, I suggest you to scroll down there and pull up the list and check them out. And I'm going to bring up the match now, and we can start watching them deploy. It's going to be a very exciting match.
There's going to be lots of nimble bullshit going on.
So much nimble.
Everything in Keith's list goes 18 inches, right? Like, pretty much.
Yeah, like we joke sometimes about how like Kings of War is a game about movement, and it's a mass battle game. So like movement and facing and all that is like really restricted, and you have to plan things out in advance. But like these guys are playing a skirmish game today, right? Like everything is nimble, everything gets extra turns. They're all high skill cap units, so this is going to be a real treat.
So is it the Undead on the top, or is the
Undead on the bottom? Herd on top.
You're right.
Yeah.
So the little harpies.
Forest.
They told it to me backwards.
So I think the Spirit Walkers with the Wild Charge D3 and Brewer of Haste is deceptive, because right there you get up to speed 7. Wild Charge D3 means you add D3 inches to your charge, so you're 15 to 17. And then we add the aura of Wild Charge from the Great Chieftain, and you're getting up to essentially speed 9 with 18 inches.
Yeah, I like the Spirit Walkers. Spirit Walkers are cool.
And it looks like they're going to be trying to avoid the... my guess is they're trying to avoid the fences on the right-hand side, because as obstacles, if you have Pathfinder, You can ignore the terrain when you're charging through it, and you're not hindered or affected in your 2 hits. But if you're charging over an obstacle, even if you have Pathfinder, you're still impacted by that terrain. I'm not sure if there's any striding in either list.
I'm all deployed.
You should, everybody watching on the stream, you should be able to hear the players talking in the background. We do have them mic'd, so there will be some periods where we just shut up and listen to them talk, especially when they're rolling dice and saying how many wounds they've done or what their nerve rolls are. You should also notice there that the clock is kind of sideways, but we do have a view of both players' clocks. I believe they are playing 65-minute, 2,300-point games. The first round scenario is control, so it'll be all about unit strength in board sections or sectors at the end of the game. And another thing for this U.S. Masters that's a little different is they are doing Northern Kings scoring.
The right way to do scoring, yes.
That's one way to do it.
It's definitely a way.
No, we have to be opinionated. We have to be opinionated.
Yeah, UK wrong, US right. That is the opinion.
Yeah, but Blackjack's Australian, so I don't even know what U.S. scoring is anymore. Details. But it does change the way you approach the game a little bit, right? I mean, Blackjack, you're rewarded for keeping your stuff alive and getting a lot of scenario points. And Northern Kings is a little more biased towards action. Like, it's always worth it to just sort of go for things and see if you can pick up more kill points towards the end of the game.
I would say that my preference is actually Northern Kings. I think it makes for a more exciting, a more fun and engaging game where you're not penalized for losing, but there's a benefit if you can kill.
You've got the right preference. That's good.
Northern Kings isn't my preference, but I have a very distinct finesse play style that does not play into Northern Kings at all. Like, I play at a disadvantage when I play Northern Kings.
So no tricky shenanigans.
I like going back and forth. I like some tournaments doing Blackjack. I like some tournaments doing Northern Kings. Like, I usually don't bother changing my list. I just like seeing whether it does better under one other than the other.
Yeah, we've got 2 very good takes on control here. Patrick is going with what I would consider my preferred style of go for 2/3 of the board, only shrink it, go for the minor win. Keith is definitely going with I'm going to project on all 3. This makes sense. Keith's faster, pretty much across the board because everything's
He wants to take that charge.
so he wants Patrick to be wide.
I have to say Patrick's also showing his skill because everything is on an angle on the setup.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a much harder way to maneuver your troops to play for.
6 for 3, your choice.
All right. Keith has won the roll.
What does he go for? What do you think he goes for in this? I think it's. I think he
goes first. I think he go first. 2 Alpha Strike speed armies. You want to go first?
Tough choice.
Board control as well. If Keith gets to move forward first, he can set up all the charges and keep Patrick in the back of the quadrants.
I do know the importance of control of having second turn, so I'll give you a first turn. Cool. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I do like. I mean, if you're going to go back to the list, I mean, I got
Not too good at
a lot of experience of Keith's like herd list as a whole. I think it's one of the things he's been practicing for a long time. He's only really tweaked it coming in with like Dash28, isn't he? Is the addition of the Horn of Migration chieftain and the Scorch Wings as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Scorch Wings is kind of like to take over with roles one of the like beasts of nature. That's essentially where they kind of fit in for him, I think. But he's decided to go second, which is interesting.
He has. And we did overhear a little bit of his rationale there. He did say in control it's not bad to go second. So I guess he's thinking of since armies are both so fast and he's got so much nimble, whatever he's got alive at the end of the game, whatever Pat does to hold table sectors, he can easily redeploy his army last to eke out a win. If he's got some harpies still alive.
And that's the 20.
Just wait to see which section Pat leaves open and then go take it with no opportunity for him to counter.
That can't quite clear.
I like
that.
the call, given that he has like 7 flyers, 6 flyers, if I counted
Yeah.
right.
Pivot
Yeah, I get it.
and up.
It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
I think with his herd list, is he doesn't really want to take any
So,
fights that he doesn't feel are going to be beneficial for him.
doesn't look like you'll be
If,
able to
if I've learned anything playing
here.
like Alpha Strike,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
elite Alpha Strike like this, is that
Agree
you've
with
got
that.
to bide and wait until the timing is
And
completely right. If you go in the wrong time, then you can lose your entire army far too quickly. So
Very
he
true.
could easily just hold him back as long as he possibly can, and then aim to just surgically strike at the right time.
A lot of speed. It's so tempting to charge on like the first or second turn, but that's usually a mistake.
We also didn't catch this before we went live, but the Spirit Walkers are not on that hill. The hill is supposed to be out at 12 inches out, so they cannot see over it right now.
Okay. So all the stuff that Patrick is aggressively moving up into the middle is not in danger of a Spirit Walker horde charge on turn 1.
Yeah, unless the harvester might be taller, but I don't think it's in range.
it's going to be well short.
Pat doesn't have any shooting, does he? He hasn't really got any range at all. Not even a lightning bolt here or there.
He's got a troll.
Yeah, the gunnery sergeant troll there, which he was just moving up through the forest, has 5 shots at 18 inches.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Actually, I was surprised to see the halflings in the undead list by Patrick. I would love to discuss why he chose to put those units in.
I have a feeling it's for a Twilight Kin or Night Stalker matchup. It's a lot easier for both of those lists to kill zombies than it is to kill these Braves.
Yeah, the spell ward is beneficial, isn't it? And plus the harvester is such a great choice, isn't it? It just hits like a ton of brick.
Yeah.
And the gunnery sergeant is another nimble Pathfinder, large infantry hero.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion.
With 5 attacks.
You're giving up a Gore Blight to take the Harvester is kind of where the exchange is, but you're getting more defense and spell ward on your zombies. So I think there's an argument for both, and it kind of just depends on what matchups you're expecting.
It's interesting that nobody, like in the Masters, your US Masters at least, are taking any halflings. I haven't seen that many halfling builds, really, despite the fact I think halflings are one of the scariest armies out there at the moment.
I'd have to imagine it's due to just the model availability. People actually getting an army, especially for Masters.
I think I saw Felix Castro playing them in Mountaineer, and I think that's the only halfling army that I've actually seen at a tournament.
Yeah, I wouldn't chagrin somebody who flew out to Seattle to not bring the halfling build they just painted. That they probably haven't practiced as much.
Isn't it just typical of Masters, though? Masters is you tend to get those people go back to the armies they know work for them. Hence why you end up with, both like previous Masters, both using the same armies that they used when they won.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting with Patrick because he won Alamo, if I recall correctly, using Trident Realm, but he's decided to take Undead to this game.
Go easy mode. That's what it is. Easy mode.
Yeah.
Bringing it flank.
And to Felix's point, halflings is, especially if you're using halflings and you're not going the aeronaut or troll route, it's a lot of models. And those models have only been out for 8 months, 9 months now.
Yeah, it's true. So it looks like Pat moved up his, I think it's his Vampire on Pegasus to put the Forest Shamblers in his flank, but up against a building, so no charge to be completed there. Pat is taking his first turn. He's on the bottom of the screen, and they are playing Control for anybody who's just joined us.
So for anyone new to Kings of War, the game typically lasts 6 turns. There's a 50% chance that you get a turn 7, 4, 5, 6. And with Control, the board is divided into 6 2x2 sectors. And if you have the most unit strength in a sector, you claim it for victory points at the end. So, as was discussed with Keith's decision to go second, he's hoping that he has the most units left at the end of the game and can fly everyone around to claim as many boards as possible. The very aggressive, going for top points as early as possible in a tournament play style. I don't think I would be that bold to volunteer to go second, but we'll see how it works out for him.
Depends on the army, I think, and your opponent. It's one of those game time decisions.
Yeah, there's a big consensus out there that always going
And
first
that
is always
is
beneficial.
your turn.
I'm not sure it always is.
All right.
All right, so that's going to bring us to the bottom of turn 1, Keith's first turn. Pat has moved his units over there on the far right into kind of a flank denial type of position and moved up aggressively across the middle and left side. So now we will see how Keith counters. He does have his 4 shamblers that scouted up over there on the right side.
I'm not over your base. I'm not over your
Just
base.
out of interest, I mean, I don't know, I can't recognise Pat's units. What's going from left to right on his units
You hold the
there?
model and store it up front.
Let me see if I can tell.
Snow
the-
bases, the worst for streaming.
Yeah, it looks like everything's in the flank.
So the infantry units are going to be either the ghoul regiments or the halfling regiments. I think the soul reavers are kind of middle back. I think that's the snowier base. I think they probably have either ghouls or halflings in front of them. I think the kind of reddish unit on the back left is probably his soul reaver cav. And does he have... I'm not sure what the unit on the far left is. Probably the werewolves, I would guess.
I think it is the werewolves. Yeah.
Werewolves, I think, are on the right beneath the measuring marker.
Oh, you think those are... Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
looks
think-
like a
sorry.
large infantry unit.
Yeah, on the right, I think, are the werewolves, and they've got 2 ghouls, I think, are on the left, and then the purple ones, I think, would probably... Well, are they purpley, grey? Kind of like ones
Oh,
in the
yeah,
middle,
no.
I think the halfling.
Yeah. I think the 2 on the front in the middle are probably the halflings, and the 2 on the left are probably the ghouls.
Yeah, Soul Reaver's behind it. It's the Vampire and Pegasus in the far right behind the building.
Yep. And then the square units are mostly going to be the Lycanuses. That individual over on the left is probably going to be his Ghoul Ghast. So I think that might be the only individual he's got. It is, yep. So the one over there next to the Soul Reaver Cav is going to be his Ghoul Ghast.
So in the flank. Yeah,
One of the Lycanuses is rocking an upgrade, isn't he? He's rocking the
Howl of the Wolf.
Aura.
Yeah, the Slayer Aura. D3 Beast only. So the other Lycanuses can have it, and I think the werewolves can have it. But that's all in the list that gets it. But it is a D3 Slayer Aura.
And it looks like Keith is repositioning towards the middle.
The advantage of the nimble bullshit. Just go anywhere you want.
Yep.
copy.
I'm a massive fan. Me and Keith have backwards and forwards. He likes the brew of haste on the Spirit Walkers. I like the wine of Elvenkind to make it nimble, because it just means you can do that bullshit with them as well.
Yes, I remember.
They're just a perfect item unit. Yeah, there's not really bad options on them, except for Fury, I guess. But
I believe.
Yeah,
I believe.
Staying Stone.
John, you one time charged your horde of Spirit Walkers like around a horde of whites of mine to hit something behind them, maybe, or around something else to hit a horde of whites that I didn't think you'd be able to get to.
It was a flank charge onto a horde of whites.
Running around some zombie trolls or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Just going. I'm gonna ignore you guys. See you later.
Bye.
One thing we could do.
We're twice
Quite
as wide as
impressive
you.
when it's our
No problem.
infantry horde.
He's gonna think that I'm talking about some sneaky shit, but I'm really just whispering to you. Speed of grades is 5, so. And yeah, speed 6.
The players do know they are mic'd, but who knows what's going to come out of their mouths, folks? So I have no control over it.
Surely that's the best psych out, isn't it? Right? Pretend that they're actually saying something important.
Right.
So my intention is to move up.
I mean, this is the one thing we've missed from real life that we didn't get on the UB tournaments that we've been streaming is just the ability to, eyeball somebody across the board and go, "You sure you want to do that?" And just watch as they measure furiously.
That's easy.
And there's no phalanx, so those spirit walkers on the hill will have TC2 when they decide to come down.
Yep.
What,
Into a big shield harvester or some halfling braves or a troll. Whatever Pat decides to put in their path.
Yeah, really only the harvester could live through one.
with TC2?
Yeah, you do 10 wins, it'll be a 5 twice, but everything else will probably die. Or at least
Bane Chant support somewhere, isn't he, as well? Bane Chant support, make it TC3.
He does have Bane Chant, yeah, and a Conjurer Staff on the Druid, the Mounted Druid, who I think is on the other side of the board over to the left. Yeah, over by his laser pointer.
Yeah, but he's still what was it? Is he movement 8 or movement 9? I can't remember if they reduced the movement on those.
9.
21-inch, Bane Chant.
Yep.
Horrible, sneaky thing.
So pretty much anywhere, as long as he can get line of sight.
Yeah, I've loved the additions to the herd list that we did that came out in 23.
Make it seem like I'm talking about strategy.
I think we can get a lot of this.
I think we are. Mind games all over the place.
Okay.
But I've loved the addition of the chieftain, who nobody took pre-COP 23, but now the chieftain is in everybody's list, giving him dread and aura wild charge. It's just horrible.
So one of the things that people tuning in who haven't seen a lot of Kings of War games or are not familiar with the system might not realize is, as much as those forest walkers, forest shamblers could see the Patrick's undead vampire on Pegasus, because they're in the flank of the model, they weren't able to charge it. And likewise, you see Keith with the Lycans up at the top left, using the impassable terrain to stop any charges into their flank by hugging it and keeping Patrick's models in the bottom left out of the appropriate arc to complete the charge. So I think we're going to continue to see a lot of that. Looking at Keith's list, my question is, I think he has 3 real hammers with the 2 Lycans and the Spirit Walkers. And the question will be, when does he use those? And if I was a betting man coming into this game, I would say that we're not going to see the main units be engaged until at least turn 3.
That is a safe bet. So Pat, in his first turn, went down to 49 minutes on his clock. Keith is currently at 50 minutes. They, of course, deployed on the clock, taking about 5 minutes each.
Making sure those Lycans cover that landing zone versus being able
It'd be
to
interesting to see what Patrick does here, because Keith has moved into the middle pretty aggressively, and so is Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So they could definitely force an engagement next turn if they wanted it.
Well, you've seen the beast. Is it the beast of nature on the right-hand side fly down and is now staring at the rear of a vampire lord?
Yeah, I think so.
Keith's doing a good job of trying to protect the vampire lord from now jumping over the blocking terrain and landing the other side of it, northwise, and then threatening his flank.
Yeah.
I think there's still a spot there, though, for the Vampire Lord to come in between the Lycan and the Spirit Walkers.
There is, but he's got his great chieftain with wings parked right there.
Yeah.
And the gargoyles as well, I think.
And like if need be, he can get in the vampire's way and punch him. And since he does fly, he'll lose nimble after he gets punched, so he won't be able to easily get out and get away. He'll still have some wiggle room because he's on that square base.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know if that Pegasus is facing the building or facing to the left.
And then, not sure what I want to do with these guys yet.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's faced him to the left.
Yeah, because he could just go punch the chieftain if he really wanted to.
Probably, yeah.
If you've left him in range, then yeah, it's a viable target.
That's probably 20 inches, so yeah. Which might be why he's backed those lichens up, so that if he does that, the lichens can come in and pick up the vampire.
Mike, select the unit. Come on, select the unit. See how far away it is.
Yeah.
Enhance!
Okay, so yeah,
there's the laser pointer check. And that looked like it was an arc.
it's really an easy fix for the chieftain, though, since it has wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also not auto-include those wings, aren't they? You go, well, if I'm going to take the chieftain, I want his wild charge aura and his dread wherever I want it. So I'm going to give him wings. I don't care if it makes him defense or solid.
And my intention is to be 18-inch, just at 18.
Yeah, do you feel like the change to that item, making it take one off of your defense, has dissuaded people from taking it? Do you feel like you see it less now?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some.
I'm kind of glad that they did do it because, you know, having played Empire of Dust for a while, nobody liked a Pharaoh with defense 6 landing in front of you and just going, "Go on then, I'll fight you."
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do much about it. But I still see it. We still see it even the low defense heroes because the movement is such a benefit for an individual. Because as Joey can probably testify, I mean, having 20-inch charge with Shakira is nothing to sniff at, is it?
It's the golden ticket for getting out of any jam. You just throw her somewhere, and you probably fixed your problem.
I think Keith has finished moving and is going on to shooting now.
14 shots, 4s to 5s.
Let's turn the volume up a little.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. Go.
I'm assuming this is into the Lycanus.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 ones.
That's pretty solid.
It's interesting that Lycanus on the left-hand side has gone so close. I don't know why necessarily, because you can't really back him up at this point in time. If he charges in, there's nothing to really stop.
Nimble, so you could back up 4 or 3 inches, pivot,
11 and 4, 15. One more time.
and still project him.
That was enough to get him. A 5.
That's not.
5 and
8,
4.
4, 12. Good. All right, back to you.
Not quite a waiver.
It's not in the tray, it doesn't count.
Tight movement phase. I don't know if
So I wonder what's going to happen with the Pegasus. Do you jump over the building and continue to threat project, taking possibility of the gargoyle?
Oh Lord, they're coming.
You could do. I could even see him turning, 45 degrees or so clockwise, and then retreating 5. If that gets him out of the Beast of Nature arc, I'd be tempted to do that. The thing is if he goes northways, the gargoyles or the harpies are going to pin him down, aren't they? And then he'll try and counter him with something else.
Yeah, it depends. If you land and leave the harpies in the flank, you can still, charge away.
You guys on the flank.
Although I guess is that a hill?
Less than 100 millimeters.
No, that's a forest.
Difficult terrain at the top right.
It's a difficult terrain.
Just go
Okay.
try and spin off that for the flank. Yeah.
All right, so Pat has moved up aggressively. He's pushed I think those are ghouls all the way up the left side. I think one of Keith's Beast of Nature is just half on camera up there in the top left corner. So I think Keith currently has some harpies and a Beast of Nature staring down the ghouls that Pat just sent up.
I'm going to say Ray's assertion of turn 3 was wrong.
Yeah, even to this point. And I think Pat has just put, we think that's what the Harpy regiment that he just put up in the face of the Spirit Walkers.
I think that's halflings.
Halflings.
I'm not going to say it, but if they were nimble, those spirit walkers, they could get around it.
Yeah.
So back with the Pegasus, it's actually not that awful of a choice to eat the Harpy charge, even if it's front, because then Keith is going to be forced to turn the Lycans towards him. And that's at least 3 turns of those Lycans just being out of the game in exchange for 1 Pegasus.
Yeah, and this is what is interesting to me is that why he did that with the Lycans. He could easily have covered those.
Right.
And he has no, because the werewolves aren't threatening at this point in time. Why?
I think his idea here is if the Great Chieftain's there, he's just out of 18 of the werewolves, but he's in 19.
Blindly,
So
where
he's
do
going
I
to
end
force
up?
the werewolves to back off.
Over there.
But he could have done that with a different facing as well.
He's outside of the 19-inch snow zone, which I do like. Mm-hmm. He does too. And you can get Moonfang one of those guys in, which is fine.
Now, I see the Great Chieftain looking at the flank of that Harvester at this point in time, because with defense 4, he'd be wounding on 2s, hitting it in the side.
Yeah, but all this harvest is doing is just tempting Keith to charge him. That's all it's doing, is saying, you can hit me. You can really hit me, really hard.
See what I can do here.
And then he counters with Soul Reavers.
Yeah, the Harvester's 13-15.
One of the things Patrick is really good at is layering his armor. So you can see on this turn he's not giving you any opportunities for any points or anything kind of tricky.
Okay. Random commentary. At least he's given us some information rather than just like hang out.
Mind games.
Well, I was going to say, if they just want to keep doing commentary the entire game, I can just sit here and drink. So, like,
Right.
Oh, we're not supposed to be drinking. Oh shit.
No, he said just drink. The drinking is implied either way.
He drinks faster.
Right.
It
turns us more into hecklers than commentators. If they're going to do the commentators for us, we're just all color the whole time.
Yeah. Did you guys catch Matt Carmack's stream that he did? He only managed to get through the first 16 matches, but this was one of them.
I watched the first 16. I had something else the second night, so I couldn't watch the rest of them.
I didn't see the second video on his stream. Maybe I'll have to double check it.
It came up yesterday, so I was still on stream number 1, day number 1.
It was 3 and a bit hours, wasn't it? Just for that first one.
It's a bit long.
That's about the average for those.
Yes, that means 7 hours between the 2 of them.
But I would make a shout out to Matt because he did this streaming for Masters last year all by himself, didn't he?
He did. He was a one-man army.
And he was part of the 2019 stream that Pat ran as well.
Yep. Speaking of people setting up streams, I'd like to give a shout out to Paul Forbes from Victoria Wargaming, who is actually providing this video feed to us. It's his cameras that are set up on site, and he is streaming them to us so that we can turn around and rebroadcast them out to you. So big shout out to Paul and the rest of the crew at Victoria Wargaming. They do battle reports on their YouTube channel. If you haven't checked them out before, go give them a look. I know he upgraded a lot of his hardware specifically to bring to Masters to get the highest picture quality that the hotel internet will allow. So I definitely appreciate him taking care of all this for us. And you should check him out when you get a chance.
We're just gonna go into the water. Okay. Because they don't matter at this point. They need to get out of the way.
Spoken like a true Undead player.
Yeah. Chaffiest chaff. Okay, so that Lycanus that he shot at last time did not charge, right? It's 1 inch away.
No, it is blocking the Lycans from being able to nibble to anything other than the Halfling Regiment.
Lots of interesting stuff going on.
That's a front charge.
I do like. I mean, there's a possibility that Gulgast could be seen by the Scorchwings. I don't know if he's already measured that or not.
I think that's why he placed that character there, is to block the charge, because they won't be able to land.
Oh, but I'll say if you could charge the character itself, then there's always the chance of the cheeky overrun. But I don't know if you could see him from
Yeah.
there.
Or if that Lycanus he just moved blocks their line of sight to
He's
the
gonna
character.
run.
So they're height 4.
Oh, but that building there is probably height 6 though,
Yeah,
so that
perfect.
they might not be able to draw line of sight.
Let's be honest, like Scorch Wings are a poor man's soul flayers. That's what they are.
Here.
Odds are we will see some Soul Flayers on this stream at some point this weekend. With as many Night Stalker players as there are, chances are
Whale
eventually
is
we
going
will.
to be running to his microphone.
That's in a front.
hey,
He's in a flank, which is not great.
Oh, he merged him. He merged the troll.
Yeah.
You mean he had the doubled, didn't he, Ray? Rather than marched, yes?
That is correct. Thank you, John, for correcting me from my,
He wants to go
in the error of my ways.
in a flank, so let me just
Gunnery
wait.
Sergeant on Troll, of course, has Pathfinder, so even if he was still
Let me get these guys where they
back
want
of his
to
heels in the forest, he can add the double out of it.
See, this is what makes good players, though, isn't it? Is that they set up traps, and he's trying to block Keith in as much as he possibly can. Question is does he cover everything when he does it?
flank.
For those
And
just joining us, go ahead, Ray.
I think what we're seeing is the difference between Keith going second and what Keith could have done going first, because as much as Joey's right, where I think there's going to be combat now in the second turn, because I was wrong, it's going to be on Keith's half of the board, Vice on Patrick's half.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what going first in control is deciding who's going to play in their deployment zone.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see how much Patrick is willing to lose this turn, or how much Patrick will lose this turn for making these plays, because he is going to give up a lot of his chaff, and Keith still has all of it.
Yep. He has put a regiment of halflings, a regiment of ghouls, and one of his Lycanus in imminent danger. And he still needs to do something with his Vampire Lord on Pegasus over on the right.
And I think he still has to move his bottom left
Cav. Yeah.
Cav, Soul Reaver Cav.
You want to go before him?
What do you guys reckon to the nimble choice on the Soul Reaver Cav?
Go here.
I think it's really good in every matchup except this one.
Yeah.
This is the
I've
worst.
definitely seen Pat get some mileage out of nimble Soul Reaver Cav before. So I don't know that I would spend the points on it because I'm not smart enough to know like how to use Cav that way in the middle of a match. But I think for somebody like Pat, it is a terrifying choice because he will notice charges that I would have never considered.
It's very, very easy to catch people out with it because you don't normally think of the Cav to be nimble. I've been caught out with the Elf Knights,
Fly over here.
like Sylvankin Knights with nimble.
Kind of sucks.
This is basically C8 flyers at this point.
Yep.
Go back over there.
My only concern about him doing and moving forward now aggressively on turn 2 is if he can't cover all the units that he's just thrown out there. If he feels he pushes the Soul Reaver Cav too far back, and you could Keith can just pick up a few units without any repercussions. This could be big.
I don't think I like. Over there, so let's go over there.
Okay. So he is going to pull the vampire back.
I'm deciding if I want to put Moon Pie into the
Over
front of
there.
the Soul Reaver infantry and the Great Chieftain into the flank. Because if I waver them, it should be pretty good for me because I don't think that there's a lot that can hit me back if I do.
And I know Keith can't hear me, but Patrick does not have any waiver mitigation on his Soul Reaver infantry. So praying for a waiver there is not bad. So he decided to Pat decided to pull back his Vampire Lord on Pegasus. Of course, with a flying character right behind him, he's pretty much got to go the whole 20 inches, or he's just giving up a rear charge.
Even if he doesn't go the full 20 inches and leaves 21 inches away, the chieftain can fly over and make him charge him.
And make him charge him. Yeah. Right now he's got his werewolves in the way, but the werewolves are also giving up a flank charge to that beast of nature. So I'm guessing he's going to do something with the werewolves.
Werewolves are also in on the 19-inch Lycans, so they're going to have to move.
Yeah. So fast, so maneuverable.
Top of me, so that's fine.
John, I don't think he looked at the pivot and go backwards 5 inches charge. I didn't see him measure that one out. He measured going above and over the building and to the side, but I never saw him measure the 5 inches back.
It does look a little bit tricky because Keith, being a good player, is angled his Beast of Nature just enough, possibly, that he'd never be able to get the front out of 5
Right.
out of his arc. But yeah, it would have been worth a shout.
For those of you who just joining or recently joined, we are watching Patrick Zoro Allen across the bottom of the screen playing Keith Conroy across the top in round 1 of the 2022 U.S. Masters. They are playing Control, and it is the top of turn 2
Out of 19.
and Patrick's turn.
Out of 19 inches.
They're both running lots of nimble units.
Lots of nimble. I'll be very disappointed if we get through all of this game without all of us like collectively slapping our heads when they do a charge that none of us expected.
I probably will not take that charge.
Can't believe you can do
If I
that.
bounce Moonfly, it does not get flanked.
Or do you think that these two guys are both so good that they're going to play so cagey and like stay out of each other's wacky nimble stuff? Like we won't actually see any shenanigans happen because they're
Patrick's
both
not
ready
playing
for it.
That cagey.
He's not playing that cagey. No, he's
He's
playing
going
very
for it.
aggressively.
Because Keith could just take what Patrick's given him here, cover with some harpies just to block lanes, and then set up again next turn.
I was going full runaway mode.
Yeah. His denied far right flank lasted 1 turn.
This does give a Keith. I mean, and this again is it does give him the opportunity to close the corner there, and
Those forest shamblers aren't dying now.
And I believe we have just switched over to Keith's turn 2. So there go the Harpies and the Beast of Nature into those ghouls on the far left, which he pretty much has to do to keep them from running into the rear of the Lycans. He sends his Lycans into the injured Lycanus in the terrain. He sends Spirit Walkers into the Halfling Braves on the hill. Halfling Braves, I believe, are at least half on the hill, so he doesn't get the extra Thunderous. Not that they're going to need it.
oh, boo-hoo.
Against, defense 4 Halfling Braves, and they're already crushed 1 Thunder 1.
Oh, I've said it now, though, as well, haven't I? I mean, the amount of times you've done something like that and gone, I only need... Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, they're not crushed 1 Thunder. Right, it's Brew of Haste, not Brew of Strength, so they're only Thunder 1. So hitting on 3s, 3s and 3. 30 attacks on 3s and 3s against a 12-14 unit.
I'm not putting my money, which isn't inspired either.
Which is not inspired, because the Gunnery Sergeant is the only thing that will inspire them. It's too far away. I'm pretty sure it's too far away. It's in front of the Soul Reavers, so that looks like it's probably more than 6 inches.
That way, Candace might be able to see the Beast of Nature.
And Keith has completely turned his left flank. Patrick's right.
What's your guys' opinion on that Beast of Nature going that side of the wood? Kind of lets off the Vampire Lord. I'd have almost wanted to keep him south of the woods to make sure that they have to turn around.
Would be a hindered charge.
Absolutely, because right now
It has Pathfinder. If he could have made it in the woods, I would have rather just done that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it could have, but if it could have clipped leader point in, that would have just kept everything open.
Yeah, I could have done.
Looks like he probably had the speed to get there. He was turned a little more than that, so he did have to straighten up a bit. So he probably could have gotten all the way there if he wanted to.
It's a lot easier for us to say that when we're not actually. We got a really good top-down view. It's a lot harder to see when you're playing the game physically.
Oh,
True.
100%.
Yeah,
I've played games where they had scenery in the way, and I've totally missed flank charges because there's a big old building. And I went, oh, I didn't realize there's a unit behind there. I could have charged that.
Yeah.
It is an interesting choice to keep the Beast of Nature north of the woods and not to keep chasing the vampire. Maybe Maybe Keith likes staring down the flank of all the rest of Pat's army instead of only chasing something that can stay just ahead of him for the entire game.
Well, I
Very
think those
tempting thing
harpies
to
at the
do.
top. Sorry.
Carry on, Rick. Carry on.
I think those harpies in the top right are very happy and will have a point for Keith at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Gotta stay 1 inch away.
That's not blocking much any.
I didn't know that he could make that move. Yeah.
It's It's hard to tell what's straight and what isn't when you're you almost
Yeah.
need to have like
They're definitely both good players. They mark their units. This is a great lesson on why you should do that.
yes.
Mhm. Especially when you have such maneuverable units, you got so many options with them. You're gonna try a few different things.
And you can see Keith has left every unit he's moved this turn still marked. So if he really wanted to, he could take everything back.
Yep.
Kind of reset, pull the Keith Randall back button.
Undo.
All right, I'm gonna see what it would look like if.
I'm just going to spitball this thing like I'm just thinking about it now, not like this was the main move I was planning on doing the entire time. So that's going to be Moonfang into the front of the Soul Reaver infantry and his flying chieftain into the flank of it. Looking for a big waver there if he gets it.
Yes. Yeah, I guess he's trying to keep his
I don't like that.
Yeah, no.
Both of those should be dead.
Defense 5, 15, 17, yeah.
Especially if you're in a position, the Great Chieftain can block him. Right? He can land right next to the Harvester in front of them. He is mighty, right? Not me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can be in 19.
He is, yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could throw away, like, this is Keith's real advantage is the 4 flying chaff units. And Moonfang can be chaff if he wants to.
From his shoulder. Good. It's not his face. It's good.
Yeah, even if it was your intention. So.
It's one of those where I didn't quite care, but I do remember that he was out of 19.
Yeah, I don't think I break him in that round anyway.
I think they're discussing what the Ghoul Ghast.
Yeah, I think
Something
they were
out
checking
of
that.
19.
So Pat is pushed up here very aggressively on both the left side and in the middle. He's pulled his right flank in. He's moved some chaff up. He's got some screens and
There we
some
go.
things to block double charges.
I think Keith has seen it. If he does the double charge Moonfang Harpies into that Lycan, the Harpies are going to block off that middle really hard.
Yeah. If they can see around the hill. Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yep. Turn him around so that we don't move anything. When pokey wings and things get in the way. Yep.
Probably be in there backwards.
And the proxy bases will probably come out to make sure everything fits up snug. Yep, there they go. And so Pat has wasted no time. He's moved up very, very aggressively. Keith has got to respond with something. Or, Pat doesn't have a ton of chaff, but the chaff that he has is out in front. It's in the way. And if Keith just clears that chaff and does nothing else, then all of Pat's hammers are going to go into the middle next turn. And this is going to be a very devastating alpha strike. So Keith needed to get something out there in the way. And putting those harpies there, it's going to be great. It's going to hold that cav up. They are nimble, so they'll be able to run around them, but he'll have to move other stuff out of the way first. It definitely gives him some pieces to run interference there in the middle.
Speed of the halfling harvester.
Yeah. Keith definitely has to hit and not get hit
No wild charge.
Yeah.
Just 5.
as much as he can. What's he going to do with these scorch wings?
If he charges the front of the Harvester at the Great Chieftain to the side, he's got a pretty good shot at just taking it out.
They're only crush Thunder 1, aren't they? So what is it? Be 3s and 5s.
3s and 5s, and then 5 attacks, 3s and 2s with Dread.
Yeah. with Dread. Yeah. And the Harvester is 13-15. Even getting a waiver on it.
It's got Banshee there too, so it could be 14 3s and 4s.
I think a waiver on the Harvester would be even better than killing it, because then you've completely stopped the Soul Reaver infantry from hitting anything of importance.
They could still get the Scorch Wings.
I think it's with Scorch Range, yeah, but that would be their only option.
Doing their thing.
You really want to put the Soul Reavers into the Spirit Walkers. That's the thing, right? You really want to pick up that Spirit Walker horde with your Soul Reavers. At least I would.
Yeah, it does look like they're in range as well, aren't they?
Round one
It's
more
gonna
time.
be-
Make sure that I didn't do anything silly.
Where'd the Chieftain go? Oh, he
Just
moved
behind
behind
the lichens. Yeah.
Yep, moved up behind the Lycans.
All right.
Which I'm not sure I'm happy with, because it does mean that he doesn't have then a free charge before the lichens go.
Yeah.
Inspiring.
I guess the hope is I would much rather have some Chieftain in range to dread the halflings. It looks like he's not.
Gonna turn up their volume a little bit so we can hear dice rolls, as I believe Keith is going on to shooting and or combats. I guess the Scorch Wings can shoot at that Lycanus in front of the Soul Reavers.
That's the troll.
Oh, it's the troll. Sorry, yeah,
All
shoot
right,
at the troll.
first thing we're going to do is cast Baneshant. So Baneshant 3, so I'll just roll with Conjure Staff on the Harpies. They get it? They're Banechanced.
That's the Harpies over there fighting the ghouls on the far left.
We're going to go next to these guys. We're going to shoot the... What is there to shoot? Does the gunnery patrol captain guy sergeant have a regen?
He does.
All right, we'll shoot the Soul Reaver infantry.
Okay.
No cover.
Yeah, no cover.
All right, so 14 shots, 5, 10.
14
And
shots
14?
looking for 3s and 5s here.
Looking for 4s and 5s.
4s and 5s. Scorch Wings,
1,
not
2,
4s, right?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's on average for 14 shots.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
That's about right.
All right, that's all
Oh,
my
5,
shooting.
so
So, a 6 to waiver or an 11?
11 waivers.
11 waivers. Okay. 9.
Close, but
Close. Yeah. Okay, let's do some combats. So 5, 6, 7 attacks, working from right to left. I need 3s and 2s for your
Beast of Nature into ghouls.
Yeah, so that's Keith's
7
right,
hits.
our left.
and 2 vicious.
and 2s are vicious.
These poor ghouls.
7 wounds.
Okay.
Beast
Add
has 7
7
wounds.
to this, make it 8. I need 4s. Roll this one because it's out of the box. 1, 2, 3, 4. And because of me, choose the vicious. 4 wounds.
11, you need a 4 to kill.
Okay. 4 to kill.
And 1.
All right.
Your reforms,
First-
We will overrun with
Point
This
That's-
first blood.
Okay.
There it is.
Change your choice to overrun.
Fee of the day.
I do have a clue if you need it.
Yeah, so the Harpy's very far forward, so he can send more ghouls in next turn, but all they can hit is Harpies.
Yeah, but he didn't need to do that, did he?
Uh,
I was possibly tempted to hold him back.
Nice and easy, guys. Nice and easy.
Oh, the ghouls are wild charge D3, aren't they? Is that right?
Yes.
They'd be able to, I don't know where
Next
to take
combat,
this.
Piece of nature.
Might
I'll
be
take
able
out
to-
5, 10, and 12. For 18 dice, I'm looking for 3s and 4s.
So this is his Lycans on Lycanus, I think. They're in front of the building on the
Okay,
left.
very nice roll. And 4s.
This is the true power of the master. If you just
1,
roll
2,
twice,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Is it on the Lycanus, right?
On the Lycanus.
10,
So snake eyes twice.
yeah,
Snake
10,
eyes twice.
10 wounds on an already wounded Lycanus.
Once,
No snakes twice.
and yep.
All right.
So that picks up the Lycanus that had already been shot by Scorchwings.
Give it a little bit so nothing can fit in us. All right. And we're good. Next one. Moon Pie and the Harpies.
All right, Moon Pie and the Harpies just below that combat in the middle of the table,
Harpies first.
just to the right of the building there.
Also,
Poison
the name
Harpies.
it's folk band.
1, 2,
Moonfang and the Harpies.
and 5s. Vicious?
Vicious.
Oh no!
Vicious enough.
Not vicious.
So no wounds
And
from the
Moonfang.
Harpies. And then Moonfang.
2 hits.
And then 3 vicious, right?
3s with vicious. 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
Quick double 6 to waver. No.
All right.
Moving on to this one, all 30 dice. 3s and 2s.
Dice gods giveth and they taketh away.
Yeah. I don't think he was expecting to pick up that one too. It's just it's better to have the units in the way than anything else.
3s. Their defense 1.
Oh,
Moonfang's really protected here, and like if he, the Lycanus kind of has to go back in
1, 2,
or
3,
block off a charge on the cat.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay. Snake eyes.
Yeah,
I think just once.
probably just one
Yeah, just
bit too
once.
far from the troll, so snakes
And
once.
good.
And that picks up the halflings.
All right.
Back up D3. Back up D3.
Probably back up. Yeah. Yeah. Mark,
Get out of
mark they are.
range.
So our reform, we're going to try to keep them in the front. Can you give me 18 inches from your werewolves, please?
18.
But if you backed up D3, they wouldn't be in 18. I'm
You want to
just
hold
saying.
this? Check the arc? Yeah, that's fine.
So is that a triple charge possible on those spirit walkers with the harvester, soul reapers, and werewolves?
Yeah, I think it might be.
That's a choice.
That is definitely a choice.
Okay, this is why he was the master last year, because I do not see why you'd want to do that. But
I think the only thing that's key is possibly thinking if he can suck them all into that one place, then he can hit them from 2 different sides with both the Lycan hordes and the
Am I
Beast
still
Nation.
within 18 of you now?
Yes. So I don't think you're going to be able to get out of that.
Unless you back up.
I'm eyeballing here, but I felt like he was at like 11 inches in on the sword.
You're measuring directly. Not through the forest, but right there. That's 18.
That's out.
I'm touching you. And your guy's sliding back as I'm touching you, so
Touching you.
that was in.
We need a drink refill.
I just paused the time to talk about this.
Okay.
I literally touched you and you slid backwards, so that was 18 inches.
This is probably not the part of the conversation you want to hear. This is
Well,
the
it's
negotiation.
And you are measuring this way, which isn't closest, but closest is through the forest.
yeah, you have to back up there.
it's I mean, it's not necessarily an exciting part of the game to listen to, but I think it is a good example to listen to. You know how 2 players resolve.
This is
Question.
why I'm a big fan of the
Yes,
the
'cause they
measuring
stood
sticks.
backwards
You know, when you can
and
put
they
down
were
a full
in
18
beforehand.
inches. You know?
So I'm going to nudge them up just a little bit so
Yeah.
they can still be back with the 18.
Did they decide if they were in or out?
It's tricky with this hill.
Yeah.
There's not a good place to
I
mark.
think Keith decided that they were in because Pat said he nudged them a little bit when he was trying to measure.
Now I'm going to see
Okay.
if at all possible if I can keep the Soul Reaver infantry out so I don't get double charged.
And the clock is
So
running
you
again.
can show me a line of Arcosite with them.
So their arc is over here.
I think this is also showing the importance of marking your units. Because if he had marked the unit before he had pivoted
So
them,
then something like this.
the option to back
The
up.
unit is walking
One
forward.
unit could fit.
These guys would have to be on this side, right? And they can slide up to about here. And they're 120 wide, so there is roughly an inch gap, and that's all guesstimating.
Let's see if I have any more room.
It's definitely an 18 now. He's moving to the right, moving down. Man,
Still in front.
So in front.
Yep,
But is he giving the harvester the flank now?
that's still in front. I don't think you can go much more and still be in front, but that's in front. That's still only 80 millimeters, so I'm sliding through there.
Right, I see. If it gets too close to the Lycanus, then to his his Lycans, then Pat can't fit multiple units in because there won't be physical space.
But the harvesters are,
hit the flank. That could be 28 attacks.
Yeah, that's bad.
and hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s.
Yeah, it's at least 18 dice, and the Lycans can still go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be that he hasn't realised how good
Let's see.
a harvester is until you've actually experienced the one. You never want to actually want to do it.
And the other option here
You are in the
is
flank there.
put the Lycans in the flank, and they won't. Put the werewolves in the flank.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
So you want to a little bit more.
Turn so much that the werewolves can't get in.
One
Can't
touch it,
fit.
won't read on it. Yep. One unit that can go in. We'll see what happens. All right. Is that all my combat?
Two.
I believe so.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Well, we're gonna see this harvester. If it pulls it off, that's gonna flip this game real bad.
Top of turn 3, the turn when Alpha Strike armies do their thing. So here we go.
So that is in range. Let's see if I have arc. I think I have arc there. You want to double check that?
I did not see that one.
You have arc.
Whether you can see
And
it.
still within range. I'm gonna move some shit to do that.
Yeah.
Check.
I'm just gonna shift this guy just so I can see a little bit clearer. Like that.
It's not that
So
hard
one
actually.
pivot would
If
go
you do the double
there.
charge and the spirit walkers, the troll charges the flank. It's clean from there on out.
I'm just gonna see if I need to move this guy first because that
Yeah.
does change.
Harvester too.
Harvester definitely need to move. Yeah, this guy will need to move too. Okay.
I mean, a double Lycanus into the werewolf, into the Lycan, sorry, would be.
That's what I know. No, the ghouls are gonna go charge.
Yeah, they are.
Scoring units.
Especially with the Slayer
I
D3
know.
as well, aren't they? So that would be 14 to 16 attacks, 3s and 2s.
Else I know is
Assuming
12
that-
to 15.
I'm assuming that's not
He's
the
got
Lycanus he threw up earlier.
with them.
Probably not.
And so
You probably don't chaff with the fancy
Harvester ends
Lycanus.
up to the left.
So there it goes.
That'll be hindered.
I think this is just a help. Right?
Well, no, because you'll pivot through that terrain.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Sorry,
Soul
I
Reavers.
thought
Oh yeah.
The Soul Reavers will be hindered, but they will go in the front along with the Harvester on that horde.
Will they be hindered?
And
They nicked the pond when they
When they pivot.
this guy
pivoted
needs
to
to
fit in.
move.
So they'd have to pivot immediately.
Yep.
Although I haven't read the 6,000 Facebook comments, so maybe I'm completely wrong about that.
Do you throw the troll in as well?
I think the troll's facing the harpies.
Up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, isn't it?
So,
I would honestly just take the flank on the harpies if it was me. But
all right, then these two will charge here. Yep. And then second pivot goes there. He goes there.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, if he pivots to right here, then go straight.
Nimble shenanigans. There they were.
it took 3 turns for us to not see a charge.
But in our defense, I think there's so many options available, aren't there?
I didn't think that the werewolves were in range of 18.
If you wanted to, that Lycanus could have charged the Spirit Walkers too.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's a very good point. On a hill, can see him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Harpies are short, easy to see over them.
These two here.
Oh, interesting. Are they both going to fit?
Won't be able to fit both of them, so just them there.
Yeah.
Are they in the flank? It looks like they're flank.
And
Not that it matters, but
Not that it matters, yeah.
it might be because there's a lip, and with the troll there, they can't fit.
I'm very
That's
surprised he's not
surprising.
putting the ghouls in. Because
Yeah.
Afterwards, important.
Yeah, I was expecting him to hold the Soul Reaver Cav back until he cleared out all the chaff in the middle. I was expecting him to send smaller things in to fight
Since
the
they can't
Harpies
go
and
in, I think
everything.
these two will go here. So
Okay.
We'll go first. It'll be like that. Sounds good.
What's the wave of mitigation on those lichens, you reckon, on the right-hand side?
I don't know which one is Staying Stone and which one is Dwarven Ale.
Could be important, because I think it's going to be either I think it's quite easily be a waiver on here.
Trying to make out what the card on the other one says.
Should be 14 attacks on average, anywhere from 12 to 16. 3s and 2s.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking, like 8 damage, aren't you? Something along those lines.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
they
something
shouldn't
7
die.
point damage. No, but it's the waiver, isn't it? I mean, if they're on the Staying Stone, a wave is 16. He's always got a chance for the Headstrong. Although, for some reason, I always roll Headstrong, and I never seem, even with a 3+, it always seems to come up as a 2.
You always pass the headstrong with like the shooting units, where it didn't matter because they can't shoot anymore. Like, I've always seen jump trees pass headstrong, but never infantry.
yes.
I usually pass a Headstrong in practice games, but never actually at tournaments.
Because all you have to do here is make sure you're out of 12 of the 4 shamblers, and that you're now threatening the entire flank.
Of 12, inside of 13, though. So if he wants to give them wild charge, he won't be able to charge.
All right.
That would be a flank. Yeah, flank for them.
Hindered forest shamblers won't do anything, though.
Yeah.
I do need to back up a hair. Right there.
It's like 18 5s and 4s. That's 3 wins. That's not really a threat, and it can still
Not
fly.
worth it.
It would hinder it though, so it's probably gonna be worth going for.
See, my plan for going maybe south of the forest there would have, 1, stopped him being able to do this, but 2, would possibly made he wouldn't be able to counter this charge into the Spirit Walkers and the Lichens on the north there. So, yin yang.
And he's marked, what is that, the Scorch Wings threat range?
No line of sight for
I
the
think that's the
Moon
forest,
Yeah.
For the forest.
the Beast of Nature forest line.
For the Beast of Nature, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
Even an inch
Oh,
back.
interesting. The Ghoul Ghast hasn't got the gnome shield. That's interesting.
I didn't have line of sight.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is nothing worse than that gnome shield. That is the single most annoying item.
Yep.
Because I can shoot this turn.
Night Stalker player where you're like, yeah, I'll just lightning bolt 18 this guy, and you're like, oh, I need 5s to win now. That
Fives because I moved.
one turn should have killed this thing.
Then on 4. Nope.
Are you complaining about my Thule Mythicum there, Joey?
Rules.
I'm complaining about a lot of things, but the Wanderer with the gnome shield is really annoying.
I'm going to turn their volume up while Pat's
On
rolling. Here.
4s. Nice roll. Nice, nice. Defense 4 and 3. 3. And 3s.
I believe that's the ghouls on the left.
That is the ghouls on the left. Yep.
5.
And 9/11, so you need a 6.
6.
One again.
And twice. Don't want to go for it because don't want to give up a flank. But you're in the front there. That's fine. Okay. Let's go over here.
Yep.
The pool gas, 3s and 2s.
Is this where you double 1 though? Surely.
Oof.
5.
Bad ones.
Well, at least go with the knights
And the
first.
Soul Reavers, 3s and 2s.
I mean, the ghoul gas did 5 wounds on 6 attacks.
Knocked it over, but was still hits.
You can double
Yeah,
one.
but you don't want to roll that now, do you? You don't want to roll
out
that.
'cause we do have a clock.
Sure.
And now double ones them. Once,
And again.
twice.
Honestly, the Snake Eyes wouldn't have been that awful. Like, not much could fit their flank. I guess Runefang might have been able to, but that would be a really awkward set of pivots.
Could the lichens have charged through the character and into the...
Like so. Limit some multi-charges.
Ghoul gas is
Back
not
up an inch and not be able to
mighty.
see, so that's fine. This guy will sidestep that way. 1 inch.
Ghoul gas is not mighty, but is awful close, and 12, 14.
There isn't really a way to kill the Ghoulgast and get a double charge into these Reavers, though.
Okay. And
So
over
you'd
here.
either not charge them at all and
Let's do
hope
this
you
one
get
first.
gas and overrun, or just charge the Reavers.
Howl the Wolf for him.
All right, so that
For
is
2 extra attacks.
that's the one with Howl of the Wolf. So he is doing his 2 Lycanus on the
6.
lichens
So 7.
in the center.
Howl the Wolf for him. There'll be 3 extra attacks. 8. This is the blade of actually it doesn't matter because your defense 4, so I'll just roll them all at once.
Yep. Blade of the Beast Slayer doesn't matter.
7. And that's 8.
15, that's
3s
strong.
and
15
2s.
attacks. 15 attacks on 3s, right?
Oof.
And then 2.
Suck the landing. 8.
8.
Okay.
Ooh.
8 wounds. They are 15,
8
17.
plus 7, 15. Is that staying stone or headstrong?
This is headstrong.
That is headstrong.
So you need to make the roll.
Ah, goddamn.
Over here. Harvester. 6 attacks of 14.
This is going to be a dead Spirit Walker unit. It really has, hasn't it?
Depends what the Soul Reavers do.
3s and 2s.
3s and 2s.
They are hindered, so there'll be 25 attacks on 4s.
I don't think it does. The Harvester
And
hits like it.
2s.
Yeah, if the Harvester does 9 wounds, that's
1s for you.
7.
7.
It's a good time to point out how good the harvester.
Right?
Very good.
Fear Walker Horde is dash 22.
Yeah. 18. 24, 25, 4s and 2s.
Told you, he didn't realize how good the Harvester was. 100%.
It is not the Goblin version at
Good
all.
start.
Very good start. Yeah, nice roll.
One thing I've realized as well is that you have
1s this time.
Pat being RC, whatever he decides to do.
10,
should be-
11.
11. Okay. 11 plus 7 is 18. A 4 twice to kill.
Brutal makes it a
It's
3.
going to be big.
And again.
Twice. And I really wanted to be a 1. Yeah, I really did.
Nice roll.
Thank you.
So that will pick up the Spirit Walker Horde. That is big.
And
Thought I'd have an extra turn there when you were hindered, but the harvester said no.
yeah, the harvester rolling the 6 there really made a difference. Feel like that. Need to go like
Pat
this
being
to
nice.
protect that flank.
Yeah.
And stick out there.
If he backed up D3, it's hard to say though. It's not like UB where I could have been like,
Back.
Mike, is he 11 inches out?
Take that rear.
Yeah, I think he's giving up the harvester at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's way more important to keep the Soul Reavers.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, a rear for Arcanuses. Yeah.
All right, so they're wrapping up, and this is gonna have been a big turn for Pat.
And then he's just going to turn directly around.
Sure.
All right, so rear is blocked. You obviously have a flank there on the harvester. Not much I can do about that. Lycans have a front at least, so you have to commit to Scorch Wings if you want an easier time of it.
Yep. That's true.
What do you do here? Do you I mean, if the Lycans
so
pass their
I'm not
headstrong,
on
do you
the-
go for the charge
I'm
into
not
the
on
Soul
that.
Reavers?
That is it.
All right.
Yeah, 100%. I would leave Lycans or the Lycanuses. That's fine.
We'll take a charge here.
I'd probably do the double charge on the Soul Reavers because Moonfang should be able to slide on the left and then the Lycans slide on the right.
These two will combo.
Yeah, but I didn't understand that the Gulgas
be able
shift
to.
because where he was possibly stopping a double charge. But
So you're not mighty, so he'd go here and they'd go there, and they go there.
Oh, wait, yeah,
easy
he's
save
on the
from this
inside.
position, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he had charged the Moonfang with the gas, that would have been stopped, I think. But
Yep. So gas repositioning does not quite stop the double charge on the Soul Reaver Cav. So that puts Moonfang and Lycans into the front of Soul Reaver Cav.
Still a big roll to
beast.
come, though.
Yeah.
Still a big roll to
Are you
come.
headstrong? Yes.
And he does get the headstrong on the Lycans in the middle of the table.
So unfair.
7 feet,
So
a
unfair.
large, regen roll.
that's a big one. I think it's both Soul Reaver units. And then,
All right. 1, 2, done. So
that's a good call, Simon. Or Simon.
All right.
Is it Simon
So
or
all these
Simon?
charges.
I usually just call him Psy.
Yes. Okay.
The Soul Reavers facing. The Soul Reavers are facing down, though, surely, aren't they?
Are they? Well, I guess, yeah, that would make sense because they're covered, but
Yeah.
it's hard to tell from this angle. Even then, I would still go for that double charge. So if you kill both Soul Reaver units, he's left with one horde of werewolves.
Yeah.
You're just bending that.
Yeah, you don't worry about it.
We're assuming the Harvester dies to this flank.
Yeah, I think he turned the Soul Reavers to look down table, so that would be a front charge with the beast. I think. He
Which
definitely
still
turned them after combat, but I can't remember which way he turned them.
stops them from doing anything else next turn.
Someone's having a more interesting game than we are. This guy is going to.
I don't say that, Keith. This game is plenty interesting. What are you talking about?
Uh-huh.
All right, so Scorchwings have gone into the flank of the Harvester. Beast of Nature on the far left has gone into the Ghouls. Moonfang and the Sting Stone Lycans have double charged Soul Reaver Cav by the building. The Lycans in the center have made their headstrong roll, so they can countercharge either of the Lycanuses that charged them last turn.
All right, what are these guys going to do? Who are they going to charge?
Go back them up an inch, see what your options are.
Mhm.
This has got bloody very, very fast as well, haven't he? What turn are we on? Bottom of 3.
Bottom of 3, yeah. So much for them playing KG for a few rounds.
Pat forced the issue. Pat forced the issue.
He really did. He was very aggressive.
Oh,
It's just going to go for Lycanus? Okay.
huh.
Is the other Beast of Nature in the flank of the other one?
I don't think so. Looks like he's in the front still.
It's going to be easier.
Probably checking it now. Yep.
Looks like it.
They're down to 23 and 22 minutes on their clocks, so still a good amount of time.
Yeah, definitely not.
So no flank there.
Still in the front. This
Don't like the
is
way he's ignoring these Soul Reavers. I mean, I'd have thought these guys would be top of his list. You know,
Especially with 2 wins already on it.
yeah.
It's not that hard to pop here. The Lycans are dead to the Lycanus regardless. So if you suicide them to swap for Soul Reavers, that's not a bad trade.
What options does the undead Pegasus have, assuming he gets wounded at this point? Go after the force?
You're getting it Force Shamblers, it'll win eventually, but
Yeah.
okay, Keith is trying to play a little bit more cagey again. I don't know if it's too late to be playing cagey.
Move these guys over here instead, if that's okay with you. Pivot.
So Keith is probably trying to put those guys right on the line so we can decide whether they're in the top or bottom. Over there on the right.
All right, my clock is ticking, so let's go.
He's willing to trade these Lycans. I think that's essentially what he's doing, isn't it? He's going, well, I can take the one of the Lycanuses out and then maybe pin the other one in place. I don't know.
I guess the hope is you kill the Soul Reaver Cav.
You kill the Cav, yeah.
Main tank
And
goes off.
then you have too many threats to deal with between the Scorchwings, the Lycans, Moonfang, and the Beast of Nature.
5, 6, 7. We have here 3s and
Turn the volume
2s.
up.
5 hits. 2s re-rolling 1s. 5 wounds. On the ghouls,
They're 13,
10
15,
kills. 5
so
wounds
10.
and a 5 will not do any kills. We're not in the business of killing today. So 6 attacks with Moonfang. We are looking for 3s and 3s with Vicious. Nope.
Did you skip
Moonfang
Ancient?
command in 1 hit. And Vicious.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Look who contributed today. 5, 6, 7.
It's only 1 wound for Moon Pie?
That's not a good deal.
18.
Yeah.
Sure.
Reaver Cav are 15, 17.
I feel like I missed a Bane
18
Champion.
attacks, 3s and 3s with Vicious.
Yeah, he Bane chanted those Lycans, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Good start. That was a good start. Okay, picking up the slack a little bit.
One more.
And 3s, reroll this one because it's out of the box.
I like that gap of 2s.
I know. Look at all these. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh goodness. That's. Oh, I just rolled 7 2s.
7 2.
Oh,
And no 1s. All right. Well, at least we got 7 wounds. Make it 8.
So up to 8. 15, 17.
15, 17.
so
Puncher's chance. 11.
That might do it, and no inspiring nearby.
Oh no.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Ended up where it needed to be. Just made you sweat on the way.
Yeah. All right. So now 28. So everything but
Hold up.
2. 3s and
reform.
3s on the. Oh, I'm sorry. I need
Sorry,
to
there.
reform.
I mean,
All right.
if you blow the attacks, you can make it up on the nerve roll sometimes.
Yeah, that unit's still there. The ghoul gas expires.
Does it?
It's 1 inch away.
It sure does. All right, and they got rid of conditional inspiring.
Yeah.
The Ghoul Gas used to only inspire other
I'm
ghouls,
pretty
I
much
think.
18 inches to the werewolf.
So they're probably forgetting that. Or they forgot the
How
Ghoul
much I
Gas
can
is there.
All right. So over there
Well, that's a big one.
on the Scorchwings. All right. So 3s.
So it's
Maybe this
Scorchwings
is-
in the flank of the Harvester.
Maybe this is Pat playing his army like he used to play it.
And 3s.
Right.
$11.
11, you'll need a 4.
One
Twice. Once.
And
Okay. Twice.
All right. That picks up the Harvester. You remember
One thing I would say about Pat is he's a super nice guy, no matter what,
okay.
being a vicious player, but he's also super nice while playing.
Do you
So I'm
remember
going to
that
sidestep so I can get in within the spiring range.
the He remembered that the gunnery
So we
troll
should do
inspires the harvester, but he forgot that the Golgast inspires Soul
Oh,
Reavers.
that does not work, so
It does, but they're very, very tiny.
You may remember when he goes to move the Gulgast in his own turn.
so it should be within
Yeah.
inspiring. All right, over here on the Howl of the Wolf guy. So 18, 5,
Going after the daddy lycans.
15, and 18. All right, we're looking for 3s and 4s. That's going to be a reroll.
Yeah, I think that other pointer one is also.
That makes sense. So 2
Alright, we're rolling some cock dice.
go out of the box more often.
And then 4s.
We're looking for 4s. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice.
Up to 8, you'll need a 7 to kill.
It's going to be a 7 twice.
And one more time. And then can you roll more than a 1?
All right, you're dead, but you died doing what you loved. And that was
Killing big shit.
killing good shit and trying to get your points back. All right, 5 attacks. 3?
That's
Yes,
correct, Pascal.
that's-
He appears to have either forgotten that it was there, forgotten that it inspired, or
Alright,
forgot that it
2 wounds
inspired
so far.
things that weren't also ghouls.
3 wounds. Double 6. All right, back to you.
All right. That's going to bring us to the top of turn 4. Mid-game, they are playing Control.
Just out.
Oof.
And don't think I have that angle for anything tricky.
Keith
No.
does have still has 2 scoring units on the right side of the table. All the action has been
We'll go
basically
back in.
right in the middle. You'd think they were playing Dominate.
They're really supposed to be touching me, so I won't be able to see them. So, yeah. These guys do.
In this situation, you always go, take the things you know are going to happen. Take those Soul Reavers into those Lycans and just kill them.
Right. Do the
Unless
easy
you
charges
do the
first.
werewolves and
I think you've got to go Soul Reavers and the Lycans, and then Werewolves and the Scorchwings.
do they have range?
Yeah, that should be 18.
Oh, I see. They want to go here.
The gun, yep. Troll is going into the front of
He
the
would want to go
Lycans.
here. Yep. So he would hit there, and then he would align and do all that shit to me. They will countercharge.
All right, he sent the Ghoulcast into the Druid, mounted Druid, to shut down Bane Chant.
I would have been tempted to put him in the back of the
I
Lycans
think
if
I want
that
these guys
stopped
first, because otherwise
the
they're
withdraw charge.
No.
Maybe he still does from there.
It's turn 4. Pat still has a regiment of ghouls
just
and a
gonna
regiment of
do-
halfling braves
90. 5.
in terms of units that are just walking around having unit strength.
5.
But
2.
it's top of 4. It's, I think.
It's top 4.
How many-
7 would go here.
How much damage is on those ghouls on the left? Are we talking 4 or 5? Aren't we?
Yeah, the beast
5.
did like 5 to it, I think. 4 or 5.
Get them the next turn, probably,
I believe that is a 5, yeah.
despite the life leech.
So he's running parallel 9 and then pivoting.
Yeah, 15. Let me see. Ghouls are 15 attacks on 4s with no crushing or thunderous, so
Yeah.
they are unlikely to pick up a beast of nature on one clap back.
And
Yeah, I really like this gas charge into the Druid, actually. It's still blocking the Werewolves from being able to withdraw, because they can't back up an inch and be out of an
no
inch.
charge.
So it does block the
Let's not get into a conversation about
I'm gonna push
withdraw
it
and how it works. That'll be,
The sort of it is you can't end within an inch of a unit you are engaged when you start it. So
Yeah.
it will block
Charge
it.
here.
All right. Both guys have less than 20 minutes left on their clocks at this point.
yeah, it's been pretty eventful the first few turns. Ooh, boo, boo, boo.
Checking around to see what else has happened in terms of reports? Bart Kohler has beaten Jesse Berglund in the first round.
That's it for movement.
Mid-Atlantic.
And Corey Wallitzer has beaten Danny Krosch. So that's a Northeast over Midwest. And a Mid-Atlantic over, I apologize, Jesse, I forget where you're from, Mountain Region, maybe? And those appear to be the only two that are in yet.
This might be a slightly biased cast.
2 rooms.
Yeah.
4 boxcars.
Slightly.
I think you'll get less bias as the time goes on.
Yeah, it's
It
not.
started at 1 o'clock here. Poor John's probably like 10 o'clock at his place.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault that most of the people who usually comment on these things from other regions
2 rooms.
are at Masters Play.
Boxcars the waiver. No.
So yeah, we will see a lot of folks from Australia and the UK
And then crushed one.
when the time zones align
Only one.
this
But it
weekend. Jesse Berglund is Midwest. Thank you, Felix, for the correction.
No waiver. All right, let's do this one.
How come you guys aren't at Masters? I've got an excuse. I'm in the wrong country.
I only played in one tournament. That's my excuse.
I had to make a very strong decision on how much I could spend on Kings of War and how much where that fit in my life. A trip to Seattle would have been like $2,000. So it's just not in the cards.
11. 5 twice.
I'm still trying to stay on team. Let's just not get COVID. So a 6-hour flight with no mask mandate didn't sound like a very good idea to me.
I'm going to double check these guys.
And I also haven't really planned any way to fly with my current army. Like, I don't know how I would do it.
Felix, you're good enough at the game. Stop hating yourself.
They can't disengage.
So I decided this year to just let somebody else who doesn't get to go as often go. I didn't actually qualify. I was an alternate, and they got to me, and I was like, just pass and go to the next person. Let somebody else go.
Yeah, COVID was really difficult on the borders for those of us in Canada being able to come down, play in the tournaments.
Picked up the Scorch Rings though. That was
Did
What has he done with his werewolves post?
3s.
I don't know.
And
the face. I think that's all he's done because he's safe from the lichens at the moment.
It's not
left
safe
them
for
facing. Did he leave them facing up table, or did he turn them down?
I think he faces down now again.
Well, he probably faced him down for the beast of nature.
Yes.
Sure, that makes sense.
13. 13.
I think you could have angled it.
And
a little bit.
nope. I know. I can use your inspire.
No lucky snake eyes there. So
So
No,
far,
I
everybody's
mean,
rolls they need to.
Also got this guy and then this guy.
That's always the big danger with these alpha lists is you do go in. There's a lot of times like this with one charge on the Scorch Rings. It's probably a 6 twice there. And you need to hit it.
Could put everybody in the front.
Yeah, but I think the lichens being able to be attacked by the 2 Lycanuses was massive because he didn't need to be there. It was one of those moves where you go, I'm going to force as much pressure as I possibly can without then considering the impact of doing it.
Yeah, you're right, because he could have left those lichens back another 3 or 4 inches and still applied pressure, and they both wouldn't have been able to get them.
Between the hill and
So he's in the flank. That push. They're in the front, they're in the flank. I think that's going to be the best I can do. Sounds good.
The Moon Pie can see the Soul Reavers then, is what's basically happening.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good option there.
Anyway, here we go. Attacks 3s and 2. So this is the Vampire Lord.
And okay, 4.
Who takes Vampire Lords? Bleh.
And 4 plus 12. Waiver.
So that is a waiver on the Great Chieftain.
And that is
actually very important for that roll.
Yeah.
Your counter punch. What's he at for wound 6?
Put everything into the Soul Reavers now. Kill
Wound
them.
dice are
but then you have the werewolves on
Three
one
and
side
three,
and a undead vampire on Pegasus on the other.
Mm-hmm. That he's got to put something else into. The Great Chieftain is mighty, though, so if he can keep the Vampire Lord from flying, like if he punches him with anything else and does a wound, they're not going anywhere.
Still got Dread as well, don't forget.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So what
Right. It
I-
gets it. It gets it with the horn. It gets Dread with the horn upgrade.
What I'd
What
like
kind of
here is Beast of Nature into Werewolves, Moon Pie into the flank of the Soul Reavers, and the Force Shamblers in the front. Or the Force Shamblers in the flank of the Vampire. Harpies in the flank of Soul Reavers is also interesting, if you want to commit them.
But the Soul Reavers are totally undamaged at the moment.
Yeah, they only had a couple wounds and they have life leech
So
too,
the
so
front
they will pick those
and
back up.
the flank.
Yeah, he's in the flank, they're in the flank, these two in the front.
I'd be trying to pick up units. I would try to
Yeah. If you
maybe
can pick
go
up
for the
Werewolves,
Soul
it's-
Reavers.
You cannot. These guys are technically on the hill, or not?
Does not look like they are, because
Because I don't think the wolves, the werewolves are going to be able to take out either a Beast of Nature or a Shambler unit that easily.
I don't think the Werewolves are going to get to move again, because there's nothing stopping this gas from just staying there or charging in their back next turn, with the Halflings ready to charge their front again, assuming they kill the Troll.
So here's my question to you, Joey. Do you even charge them in the back? Because if you charge them in the back, they can turn around, countercharge.
No, I would just leave them right there if Keith is going to leave the Druid alone.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I'm not sure Moon Pie can see the werewolves if they're not 50% on the hill because the lichens in the way are the same height, right?
Yeah.
If you did it correctly, you won't be able to, but I always had to check.
But, like, functionally, there's no difference charging the Soul Reavers and the Werewolves as far as your odds to kill.
Which I don't think you can. For how it
What was that? Sorry, Joey?
didn't look like
There's no difference between charging Werewolves and a Soul Reaver unit, as far as how much damage you're going to do, because they're both 15-17, they're both defense 5.
Right. They're both the same amount of unit strength.
So this is a
At this
front?
point,
Yeah.
speed might be more important.
Harpies are
Taking
flank.
speed off the
They're
table
fine.
might be more important.
Well, the Werewolves are less likely to kill a unit. Right? Soul Reavers, if they do get into something, will take off a unit strength. The Werewolves, if they charge in, they probably won't kill Moon Pie in one turn, or a Beast of Nature.
They have Brew of Strength, so it's
This is a
definitely.
front.
But it's, that what we're talking about is then like 8 damage, isn't it? Something along those lines.
All right, we'll take a front, flank,
You know, so we're 6 to 10. So 6 to 10. A 10 would still give a good chance to take
And
off a Beast of Nature with the 2 chances at 7, but not a guarantee.
All right, so he's going in the front of the Soul Reavers with the Shamblers. He's going in the flank with the Harpies. And then is he pulling Moon Pie into the other one?
moon thing over there.
And
We'll take a rear with the Beast of Nature.
Okay.
Beast of Nature into.
What's the speed of the dual guest?
6 wild charge
Did you
D3.
just say
6
rear?
wild charge.
Oh, rear onto these. Oh, right.
We're
okay.
onto the halflings, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Nothing
fair
I
enough.
can do here except for just move away. Oh, no, I'm waiting. So I can't do anything. I don't think. Yeah.
As an individual, so could always turn.
He could always turn. Yeah, he could always turn and go left because there's still a Lycanus sitting there behind him, right? So he can't really go
I
right.
can't cast because I'm disordered, so
To be honest, though, if the
combat.
Vampire Lord charges him again, he's not doing the right thing.
All right, so 21,
True.
so I'm going to take away 9. No shooting.
So if he does kill the Soul Reavers, he can have the Harpy.
3s and 2s, the Vicious on the Brave.
Here we go.
All right, so this is the rear charge of the Beast of Nature onto the Braves in the pond.
And 2's the Vicious. 4 Vicious rolls. 2 more.
Braves are 12, 14.
12 wounds.
And these
So-
guys, right? Snake Eye.
Snakes once because he already picked up the Inspiring, right? No?
No.
No, they're still there, but it's going to be more than 6.
We will need it
Time
twice.
is going to
He will
be
need it
important with the fact that we've only got 11 minutes left.
Yeah, I
for
saw that. I
the
was
two
like,
turns.
oh, God. Don't do that to me now. Not now.
Dice Trade tried to kill
I wouldn't
Keith.
have been the worst Snake Eyes in the world, but
No, it wouldn't have been.
still not one you want.
No, sir.
All right, so the beast does pick up that unit strength, which is in Pat's deployment zone, so that's kind of a big deal.
7 attacks, 3 hits,
2 vicious.
2 for vicious, 3 wounds.
Up to 7, you get an 8 to kill.
Hey! Alright, got him. Overrun. Yeah, with an 11.
And he got him.
Overrun 5.
That's
Wow.
actually
So
pretty
that's
big.
that is big because that frees up a beast and picks up unit strength and probably gives Keith another point.
Um,
I don't know if the overrun was the best idea. I'd have possibly turned him because no way you can see either way.
attacks, 3s and 4s on the gunnery circuit. Defense 5. 3s.
But Keith is in the let's get this done quickly mode.
He's only got 10 minutes left. Like,
And
Yes, he's got 10 minutes and 2 more turns. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wounds.
Nice. 7 kills. 6 waivers. Okay.
You Americans taking extra
Using his
time as well.
PCB
How many
dice
times
for my
have you done
waivers.
it? 65.
65.
Alright, over here on this one.
We played 2,300 at 50 minutes in the UK. Come on, get on with it.
12 attacks, 3s and 3s in the flank with
I like
Moonpipe.
to enjoy our games. Fully experience the tactical mind play.
Dilly dally.
And 3s with vicious.
we don't have the same mastery of the English language as the
All right,
Brits. It
5
takes
wounds.
us longer to explain what we're doing.
Alright.
Joey, I think the Ghoulghast goes into life.
4s and 4s with vicious.
At this point, yeah, just keep him stuck for another turn.
Alright, so showing 2 so far, 2 rerolls. Alright, so 3 more.
All right, this is the everything on the Soul Reavers, I think.
16 4s and 5s with vicious. Are you inspired? Just out? Just out.
Just out of inspired. Could matter. Not inspired. No waiver mitigation.
And 5s with vicious. 1, 2, 3. 3.
At 11, you'll need a 6 once.
6 once.
Oh,
1, 3, shoot, got it.
Alright.
so that picks up the Soul Reavers right on it. That is a big deal.
That is a big deal.
What do you do? You're going to lose 2 of those 3.
You can block a lot of charges onto the moon pie by using the forest shamblers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you reform like that, the
No, he
werewolves
doesn't.
can
That's a,
actually charge parties.
is that a wheel by the harpies? What is he doing with the
That
harpies?
was
That,
You could reform to do this, but it would definitely not look like that.
Your center should be like way over here.
Yeah, you're cheating
Exactly.
bastard, Keith. Right? Fucking hell.
7 minutes left. Turn 4. The nerves are getting to him.
Easily done in the heat of the moment. Easily done. But yeah, I think if you
Just
can
go on YouTube,
stop the
click
rear
the
charges
filter,
onto
like-
moon pie,
Never mind. Well,
I don't think you can with a undead vampire lord on Pegasus on one side. Like, what, give them both flanks?
no, because if you turn the rear of moon pie to so it's backed onto the forest shamblers, then you would stop there and bring in enough space for them to fit in.
just
That's about as good as we're going to get. Back to you.
I don't know which way Moonpie's facing, but I'm assuming towards the werewolves.
We'll
I'm
bring us to the
assuming
top
as well.
of turn 5. More game results. Ray Wyatt has defeated Larry Essick.
Mid-Atlantic power.
Mid-Atlantic Power. All the zombie legions.
Go undead.
Go.
Easy mode. Easy mode. Right? Fucking
He's
hell.
playing with 6 legions of zombies. I don't know if that's easy mode.
Me and Joey
It's
take
something.
Night Stalkers because it's hard work. That's why we do it. I am
Back
interested
on
why lots of people have gone Night Stalker now. Out of all the choices you could have, because there are a lot of really good armies out there. I wondered why the Night Stalkers have been the predominant.
I think it's 2 things. One, the updates made them really good. But also, like, there's been enough time for that army to exist, for it to be built and painted to a quality that people want. It's like the army came out right before COVID, so people have had a couple years now to actually build theirs.
So you're saying it's not the fact that 2023 made it like 12 attacks on Soul Flares? You're saying it's more the case of...
I think that's like 60%, and the army thing's like 40. And then there's another 5% on the Banshee.
But Joey, you were playing Night Stalkers before they were cool, so I'll take your opinion on that.
Well, before they had an army, you know, there might be one Night Stalker player. Even at Masters, there were like 2 or 3 every year until the army came out. I think they were
the Banshee, Joey. 5% on the Banshee.
Yeah.
Ah, because they don't realize how good it is until they take it. Got it. Right, fine.
I did it a month. I own it.
Shadowhawks, Horror Riftweavers, Soul Flares, Shakira. There's kind of a lot of reasons to play Night Stalkers these days.
He's not going to do me anything. So.
I would argue that Twilight Kin is equal state of play right now, where it's an amazing army to play.
Down to 5.
The big surprise for me this year is Ogres, because Ogres prior to Clash of Kings 2022 was a good army, but never super competitive.
Yeah. The warrior unlock adds changed the army incredibly.
Yep.
I think it's very comparable, like the Soul Flayers, where it seems innocuous. We've given you unlock freedom, and the Soul Flayers got 33% more attack. But a small change like that opens the list up so much.
I don't like statistics when you turn around and say 33% more attack. It's 3 more attacks, right?
It's a 33% increase in dice.
3 more attacks on average, 1 to 2 damage. Right?
Here, I'll frame it better. If we nerf them by 25% of their dice, I think they're fine.
I have to agree with you. They were good before that. I do like those comments where people go, "No, the best thing about Soul Flares is they're height 4," and I went, "Yeah, they've been height 4 for some time now."
Very long time.
Right. Last edition, you could have said that was the best thing about them. Probably not now.
Yeah, I think personally, the best thing about Soul Flayers is that they can now get Spell Ward. That's the best thing about Soul Flayers.
It's the perfect 165 points. I don't think there's a better 165.
Somebody needs to make a joke video about Soul Flayers where you just say the best thing about Soul Flayers, and then you just mention any one of the things, and then you cut immediately to you saying, but the best thing about Soul Flayers is, and you just say the next cool thing about them, and you just string like everything, just 8 or 9 things about them together.
And then we send it to Kyle, and he'll post it as a Mantic thing to promote sales.
The best thing about Soul Flayers is they don't actually have any eyes, so I don't know how they see anything.
But they still hit on 3s.
Enough to be devastated.
That's the beauty.
They're like bats. They use echolocation.
Harpy's down.
I do like Pat's like and they're devastated. That's a great comment to have.
They have 4 attacks.
And
Sam gets the point for the video that I was referencing. That is correct. I was thinking specifically about the Hero Quest video.
Takes into effect.
Well spotted, sir.
So good. Yeah, so
Everybody should go and see that video right now. Everybody.
But the best thing about Hero Quest is... Not right now. Keep watching this till we're done. Then go watch it.
It'll be like
for the next round. Watch the viewers plummet. Like, why did we tell him to watch something else? Rookie mistake.
Oh, he did not pick up Moonfang.
That one. 6.
Okay.
Hindering. Okay. And then a 3.
I'm gonna make a Hero Quest style army now, and doors have to be like I don't know.
Doors.
And I'm not sure. All right.
Every model does the squad. 1 weapon above your head.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be a great army overall. So every time you go to another combat, you get +1 attack. I think that's probably the best thing about.
24 right here.
So where do you put the...
From here. So you want the exact? Middle, you gotta go.
Beast of nature at this point in time.
Alright, we're gonna take this flank. He's gonna combo charge
Flank
to
front.
out of the way.
He's still got a chieftain.
We'll pivot. Keep him in
So
the
it looks like Mike Rossi has defeated Tyler Schultz, and I think Keith Randall has beaten Pat O'Neill.
So you shift them over a little bit.
Yeah, if you were like here, so if you're pivoting,
I will have all of the results from the round posted to Dash28 as an article once they're done and next round's pairings. So if you want to know all the results from this round, just go to the site and look under the news section or recently published articles around the time round 2 is getting started, and we'll have a full recap for you.
And then pivot like that and keep everyone in front. He'll combo charge over here.
Is there a lunch break between round 1 and round 2?
I believe
He's gonna back up
so.
and reform. He's gonna roll 10 reach.
We've got enough time to go get some more beer then.
Moonfang has regen. Evil.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, they
5
started
times.
this game at 10 a.m. their time, and the next game is not until 1 p.m. So their time.
Defense 5 on these guys.
Recently played a tournament where they didn't have the lunch break until after game 2.
Regen on the right.
That was an interesting
Countercharging,
experience.
They don't get it.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
like
like
that.
Everyone's
Into
punch
GTs
over
like that,
there.
especially if you start like round 1 at 8 a.m.
Here we go. Okay. We'll cast
just
Bane
like,
Chant
let's throw
on
it.
the Beast of Nature.
Yeah.
I've never played a round 1 at 8 a.m. What
Happens every game.
is
I've
that?
done it at game
So we'll
stores.
go down to
That's mostly
these
due to
guys
game
here.
store timing.
18
Because like if
attack.
they close at 5, they're like, no, we want to start very early.
10,
Yeah, if you're trying to fit all 3 games in one day.
threes.
Or if it's like a 4-game tournament, sometimes they'll do 2 games, then the meal break, and then the other 2 games.
Okay. And
Got some 3,000 point tournaments coming up in the UK. They're trying to get 3 games in one day. And like, that is going to be hard.
I thought you guys played fast. Come on, that's like 16 minutes.
I don't know if you've ever played 3,000 points. That is hard work.
That was my one move. All right, moving over here.
That's when I'll play like words and just push forward 4 inches, let you roll dice, so I'll figure it out later.
14 attacks, freeze in defense 5. Defense 5. Freeze and 3, so vicious.
Keith is moving at speed.
Yeah, 4 minutes left on his clock.
Still got a turn to go before we even roll for 7.
He does have a pretty distinct scoring advantage here, so as long as he gets 2 minutes to move bottom of 6, I think he's pretty happy.
7 wounds so far. And then 5 wounds. 5 attacks, hit twice.
Keith went first, didn't he?
one wound
Keith went
spread.
first, so this is going to be, he's top of 5.
No, Patrick went first.
Pat
Patrick
went
went
first.
first.
Yeah. So he was around.
Yeah,
Bottom
because
five,
Keith
yeah.
gave him second turn, didn't he?
11.
Yep.
8 and 7. Waiver. With dread. So 8 and 8 still a waiver.
Yep, 15 is still 16 is still a waiver, and a 15,
So
17.
they're
So,
waiver,
yeah.
that's my turn. Back to you. Nope.
Go, hit the clock. Bang.
All right.
So I don't think there's any way for Patrick to win at this point.
If he kills 3 units and gets a 7.
What are the lichens on over by the lichen horde?
Who's this guy on?
I think
A
1.
lot of ones.
Now this is on.
Oh yeah, no, they only have 1.
That was-
They have a ghoul gas behind them, but I don't think they care.
Like the
And
Pegasus
Moon-
wants the cast in there, and then they're probably in. They could be in the middle.
Yeah, Moonfang has 5 wounds. The werewolves are wavered and don't have any sort of mitigation for that, I don't think.
No, because they have outbrew strength.
Yeah, bruise strength, yeah.
See, this is where at the start of the game I always make sure I have like the sectors, the corners pinged out, so I know roughly
Yep.
where you're going to be.
Yep.
But it looks like what we're talking about is going to be 2 on the left hand side for Keith, aren't we? And then he's actually taking. Is he?
Top of 6.
Yeah, he is just about.
Yep.
Not taking the center section, isn't he? But then this is where the Lycanus pisses off somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, the werewolves regen is going to be pretty key. Like if Pat spikes something real bad here, he could work with it.
Werewolves don't have regen, do they?
No.
Oh, no, they have the life leech. It's the lichens only. Dang it! Shows how often I see werewolves nowadays.
Werewolves get D5, Lycans get regen.
Yeah.
And Pathfinder. Not that we go into it.
All right, top of turn 6. This might be Pat's last opportunity. He's got 7 minutes left on his clock.
This is the advantage of going second.
Yeah. Yeah, because if Keith doesn't think there's going to be a turn 7, he could just move. Move and get out of charge arcs and take enough to win and then wait and see if there's a turn 7.
Yeah.
Plus, since
The
Wiggins is additive, it's not compared to what Patrick is going to have. If he just takes 5 points of zones,
Yep.
it's max.
All right, so these guys.
What I've liked about this game is it's been really close all the way through, and
It definitely has.
What piece?
It's an excellent opening match.
I mean, like some of the things you question, like Keith, with positioning of the Beast of Nature twice, still seemed to work out all right for him, didn't it? You know, he's very good at holding off with his units just to get into the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I only wonder how much the Soul Reaver missing Inspiring would have changed things.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Because like, if Keith rolled a 6 or lower on that second Inspiring roll, I think it's a really good game there.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like a
The
what,
like
55% chance, 55% chance for them to get a 7 or more, aren't they? So yeah.
I believe John
Admittedly-
Panas and Kyle Timberlake have tied.
So let's go.
That means nothing to me, unfortunately.
I think Devlin
It's
Smith has
Northeast.
beaten Drew Allen. It looks like Brian Happynook has beat Kara Brown.
Isn't Devlin Smith supposed to be the heir apparent, isn't he? Is he supposed to be like the
To what?
within the Masters?
No.
I keep hearing that on chat. Oh no, okay.
He's just in counter charge, or he was doing a lot with them.
Yeah, no. I love Devlin, but I don't think he's on anybody's short list to win the Masters.
This is his time now. Yeah, he's gotten the first one out of the way. Just 5 more.
Let's do it with this guy. Yep.
I've been looking at the table spread. It feels like this is Keith to lose, isn't it? Is that the kind of contemplation here?
Go over there.
Yes, no? Keith, lose, win.
So,
Definitely. It's definitely going to be close.
9. Go here.
How much are those werewolves on at the moment? They're actually holding on to them.
I believe they're on 8.
Well, he has to kill the werewolves because he can't just leave them. I don't think the 4 Shamblers can get to the right quadrant, bottom right quadrant. So
They could on 7, assuming they're facing that way.
yeah, but on turn 6. So I think it could be 1, 2, 3 for Keith right now, and 1, 2, 3 for Patrick. A draw is probably the best to see right now for Patrick, barring the double ones.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick needs a 7. If he gets a 7, he has another shot at this.
Yeah.
Not if he's
All right. So he's just bugging out to pull a point there. That's good.
Over here. Yep.
Just bank a point and see what happens.
And then 2s.
Canis in the front 4. That's going to put him on 5 wounds, but that's a 15, 17
And
unit
rear 3s.
with the Ghoulgast in the rear.
And
Yeah.
twos.
The D4 making it
7.
Up to 7, so needs a 10.
14. 7.
7 won't waver.
Alright. We'll take this flank. Counter charge here.
This is going to be the quickest 3 minutes you've seen in a while. Well, quickest turn because it's 3 minutes. Are we going to talk to these guys afterwards, or is it just going to be a case of we go, wow, whoa?
I think, I don't think we have any time to talk to them afterwards, or we didn't plan anything. Like, there's really no way for them to get on camera and hear us.
There you go, a little bit further.
So we'll probably just give it a miss.
There you go. So Moonfang is going to take the right-hand scepter at the bottom there.
Yep.
Assuming that
As
we're
you
on
can.
side.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 point for each of them on the right side.
1, 2, 3.
He's going to claim the
Okay.
scepter.
He needed the undead vampire lord on Pegasus to pick up those lichens.
Alright, we're gonna main chant there.
Yeah, but didn't he fly that guy up into the top right corner?
It's currently in combat with the werewolves.
Oh my god.
With lichens. The Lycanus is at the top right.
Okay.
And
Units are so fast. I forget which one can fly because they all go that fast.
The white base on the left can fly. The white base on the right cannot. But it still moves like it can fly.
Right.
and 9.
One more time.
And 10.
Oh,
That picks
Massive.
that up. Okay.
that is massive. 9 out of 10. Oh,
Over here, 14
Stays where he is, then that, yeah, then he can still get that top left corner because he has his own center with his Beast of Nature.
So does he back up D3 inches?
I think he
He
stayed where he was.
And choose
It's got the gas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Go Gas is behind him, so he can't back up.
Alright, break check with 6 wounds.
I think they're still in the top left. You had mentioned it before.
And there go the werewolves.
yeah. They were always going to go down.
And that leaves
down.
Pat with what? 1 scoring unit?
See if there is a round. Next
Turn,
round.
turn for roll for turn 7,
Yeah.
and that is going to be game.
Alright, so you get the
Kate's going to get
2,
5 points.
3, 4.
This guy's over here.
You feel it came down a little bit to that the lichens not going down to those 2 Lycanuses going in. The 2 Lycanuses killing them would have made a difference there.
2, 3, 4, 4, 5. And then
So 5 to 1.
It'll be 5 to 1 on the
otherwise, all I have is
scenario.
Those 2, so that's 1
And attrition-wise, they killed the hell out of each other.
minus.
It's going to really favor Keith, though, because he kept all his characters alive.
Yeah.
265.
Cool gas
And not
as
that
well.
it favors the other Kings. It's just
Hey, Patrick. That
there's
was
no
a
comparison.
really hard fought, really, really good game. Oh yeah, really awesome, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, congrats to
That was a
Keith.
really good game.
I'm
That waiver really killed me right there. And then you had that 10, and you had another 10 for like a 9 or something.
Very, very well played by both players.
consistently high nerve check.
Yeah. From my point of view, the
And I'll just go.
Pat forced the issue, and if he got away with those 2 Lycanuses going into those those lichens on turn 2, was it? No, turn 3,
Which is
he would have been
If that
in a
headstrong
really
roll was
good
passed,
position.
because the inspiring was caught, and that turned out in Pat's favor.
Oh yeah, the inspiring as well.
So there are definitely opportunities Pat could have had to really take this off.
Well, here's 260.
I was.
210.
I think that was the move that surprised me was when he put the Soul Reaver Cav into the Harpies. I didn't see that coming.
I don't know that it was necessary with the halflings in the pond yet, but if they were in the front, I don't know if they would. It would just sort of occupy the space, and then the cap could have been right behind
Great
him.
Chieftain is 150.
Because he had the Graves in the pond, and he also had the Ghoulgast. So either way, they were the Harpies were not going to go anywhere. The Ghoulgast should take it down.
Which is not the +2.
All right, so it looks like Alex Chavez has defeated Billy Hinninger. Adam Ballard has defeated Marcelo Rocco.
I just got the 1.
Adam Ballard's going to be one of my guys for the master.
Night Stalkers represent.
Looks like Jeff Franz is 1. Jeff Radigan is 1.
Jeff is Night Stalkers as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think looks like Eric Trowbridge has beaten Jeremy Duvall. That was another match we were watching. Dan Wright over Mike Grant. And I think those are all the results.
I'm actually curious how the Dan versus Mike game goes. The 9
Oh, wait.
Ogres.
Oh, that looks like that might have ended up as a draw, actually. Dan Kemek
really?
and Mike Zettelmeyer might be a draw.
Oh, that's massive.
Yeah.
Mike is another guy that had a. He played so well. He played so well with that 9x9.
In past Masters, it's usually been a really good thing to draw turn 1 or round 1.
It has, and for Northern Kings, if you get like a big 15 or 16 point draw, like that doesn't really knock you out.
Yeah, you 100%. Yeah.
If you
I
if
mean,
you win the rest of the games.
But it was one of those tough matchups. Mike and I played that 3 times prior to him going to Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And I won 1, he won 2. But it was definitely one of the ones that could go either way.
Yep. Looks like Nathan Clevenger has defeated Greg Person. And I think that's all.
So there's
oh, it's a good game to watch, that first one.
which is our email
First
address,
one-
it looks like.
As a, nimble bullshit, Probably want to turn them down because they're going to start sending people, put email addresses out on YouTube.
Sure. We don't actually need to watch them anymore.
Oh, you
Right,
can see my beautiful face bigger here. Look at that.
Before
It's-
everyone knows their login pins for the scoring system for the Masters. Okay. So let me turn off the banner.
Thank you very much, Mike, for hosting this. Look forward to watching the rest of the Masters matchup as much as I can, and then later on YouTube.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Joey and John and Ray for hanging out with me and watching this game. Thanks, everybody that showed up to watch it live. Hope you enjoyed it. Congrats to Keith, and good luck to both Keith and Pat in the remaining games of the tournament. I'm just pulling up the schedule here. They will be on lunch break now, so our next stream will start about an hour from now, a little less than an hour from now. After the end of their lunch break, that'll be 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. on the East Coast of the U.S., 9 p.m. in the UK, and 6 a.m. in Australia. And once we know all the results of all the matches and what the pairings for next round will be, then we'll figure out what match we're streaming. So I don't know who we're going to show you yet, but tune in an hour and find out.
There'll be somebody on the table. There'll be somebody on the table. That's the important thing.
Right. They'll be good. Whoever they are, they'll guarantee they'll be good. So I think that's all we have for right now. So like I said, when all of the results are in, I will post all of the full round results and battle totals to Dash28. So keep your eyes on that. That should be ready in the next 15-ish minutes or so as the rest of the matches finalize. And I will try to let people know who we're going to stream next round as soon as we know what our options are and pick something. Otherwise, for those of you that are going to join us all weekend, we'll see you back here in an hour. Thanks for watching, and you stay safe out there. And until next time, I'm your host, Mike Atkins, and we will see you. We will, keep 28 dashing, and we'll see you back here in an hour for round 2 of the U.S. Masters. So everybody, go get a bite to eat, go to the restroom, and we'll be ready for round 2 very shortly.
Beer up. Let's do it.
Yeah, beer up, everyone.